Text appears saying Chrissy Vista presents Welcome to Brown Bags TV. Background is a woman typing into computer keyboard and changes to two people scribbling notes. Then the text now reads, It's better that we know. Then background changes to the photo of a woman in a table and with a fan and says, Your brown bag sessions are now virtual. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hi everyone! Welcome to Brown Bags TV or BBTV. So today, ang HR series natin will be about consultancy and development sector and what is development industry all about. Siyempre, alamin din natin kung ano yung freelance or freelancing as a job. And ang title ng episode natin ngayon is, Doktor lang ba yung kinukonsulta? Bakit? Kasi we need to know kung bakit hindi lang doktor yung kinukonsulta. Baka meron pang ibang work na may consultation involved. So, and today, yung makakasama natin will be parang masasabi na nating veteran sa racket. Hello, Ray. Kamusta?
Okay naman so far.
Ayan. So, Ray is one of my classmates right now kasi I'm taking a course at Royal Holloway University. It's one of the nicest universities in London. We're taking ano nga ba yung course na saan tayo mag-classmate? Ayun, audio descriptive service. Ayan, or how to create audio descriptions as a form of accessibility. And bukod dun, ano din to racketista. So, ano bang mga racket mo today?
Magandang buhay sa ating lahat. Magandang hapon din lalo sa ating guest si Ninang Carmen Zubiaga. And, basically, siguro konting sketch muna about myself. Before akong mag-racket, I was being the operative word with a business process outsourcing industry. I've been there since like around 2003, 2004, if my memory serves me right. Lalong-lalo na yun yung time ng BPO industry confined lang sa mga alumni ng apat na pinakamalalaking universidad sa bansa, ang UP, ang LaSalle, ang Ateneo at saka ang UST. That was before maging widespread or maging industry per se ang BPO. I've been doing freelancing jobs since 2018 when I myself became a PWD. Since then, yes, I've been taking numerous jobs of which ang isa sa mga pinaka-recent experiences ko was working for a Canadian rideshare company that is basically their smaller version of Uber. I'm sure everyone's familiar naman with Uber or yung local partner nito which is Grab.
Yes.
And basically they're just a smaller version of Uber in 10 middle markets in Canada. 10 cities per se. Tapos Uber is not operating except for one pala, which is the provincial capital of Manitoba, which is Winnipeg. All the rest walang presence ng Uber doon because these are middle markets. I was there as a workforce, parang akong team lead and at the same time workforce manager ng mga roster of drivers doon. Handling 10 cities. So that's basically complicated also because pati yung mga processes hawak ko din. Aside from monitoring driver performance, yung attendance nila and all that, hawak ko din lahat yun.
Kumbaga very workforce talaga siya, no? Management.
Yes.
Oo.
And partly function din ng team lead. Team lead ng mga drivers.
Oh yeah. Oo, malaking work talaga yun, no? Workforce management. And this is remote employment. Work.
Yes. That is correct. Remote employment siya. I'm based here in Cavite and I worked with people on those 10 cities in Canada.
That's nice. Oo nga naman, ang technology talaga sobrang ganda and sobrang dali makipag-work sa ibang countries or sa ibang companies abroad. Basta meron ka lang matinong internet connection. Sana all.
Correct. And who would have known na, like, 10 years ago, this industry, itong freelancing industry, it was called telecommuting.
Yeah.
And I even had, I even had a plan. Sabi ko, what if magandang proposition to, mag-work ka lang sa bahay? Although parang medyo alien sa unang pandinig yung telecommuting eh. Yun lang pala, it's just na ang office mo is nasa bahay. And I initially scoffed at that idea because I had this mentality na kaya ko naman mag-commute kahit 20 kilometers pa yan mula bahay hanggang workplace and vice versa. Ayun. Pero, well, because of these life-changing circumstances and most recently, yung situation natin dito sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo, naging widespread na rin ang freelancing. And at the same time, whilst I was with that company, I also served as parang virtual assistant for a US-based virtual assisting company.
Is that the one that's related to creative, what's that?
Creative Resources Specialist.
Resources. Oo nga. Kasi,
Pinagandang pangalan yun, pero what you were actually doing is you're a virtual assistant and you're handling different clients. Although these are mostly, transaction-based, you're not stuck on one client alone, but you're working on different clients who would need the services of the company on a per subscription basis, and you deliver what is requested of them.
So, super freelancing. Talagang raketero. Okay. So, ayan, no, I guess we have a glimpse of what freelancing is all about. And for today's episode, we also have one of the veteran consultants din na nakatrabaho ko na for a long time, like I guess 2011 pa, ma'am. So, we'd like to introduce Miss Carmen Zubiaga. Hi, ma'am.
Hello, Pretty.
Hello.
Hello, mga inaanak ko.
Hello. Ayan po. So, good afternoon, ma'am. Miss CRZ. At sabi ko nga kanina, one of the senior or one of the veteran consultants I have worked with since 2011, no? Kasi we have worked with social... Tagal na, ma'am. We have worked with...
Before my NCDA.
Yes!
Yes.
Oo, before NCDA pa si ma'am, nagko-consultancy na yan. Siyempre, she has to set aside consultancy muna nung pumasok siya sa government service kasi nga naging head siya ng National Council on Disability Affairs.
Correct.
And after ng stint niya sa NCDA, ayan, balik consulting. But anyway, ano ba talaga ang consulting? So, marami kasing nalilito about consultancy work and freelance work. Pwede bang consultant ka pero freelancer ka? Or pwede bang baliktad?
Depende kasi yan, depende sa depende sa type of clients mo. Like, you can be on a consulting base if your client will put you on contract. Kapag naka-contract ka sa isang client, it may be a company or a person for a certain type of job and consultant ka.
Yes.
And depende rin yan sa gagawin mo, no? Like, you can be, when you say consultant, you are being commissioned as an expert in the field that they are working for. And kung ikaw naman ay freelancer, it means that you are providing either a service, form of labor, such as marketing, social media management, tubero,
Writing.
writing,
Yeah,
yung mga ganyan, yung mga and although you are also bound to, meron kang time bound, may time bound ka rin, pero of course, anti-consulting, nakalagay lang doon kung ano yung mga gagawin mo at yung specific role mo to a certain project. doon sa freelancing,
Mhm.
kung ano lang yung ano yung skills mo ay doon naka-base lang ang inyong gagawin. So, masyadong kasi pag freelancer na halimbawa, freelancer na photographer ka, freelancer na graphic artist, usually ito yung mga jobs na nakaano sa freelancing. Actually, marami yan eh. There are about mga hundreds or 8,000 jobs na freelancing, no?
Yes. Sobrang dami niyan, Ma'am Carmen.
Oo,
And-
sobrang dami yan. So, yung skills, no? Yung mga skills nyo, ngayon, like, yung sign language interpreting is a skill. So, sila mga freelancers sila.
Yes.
Ito nga, social media management is also a very napaka-lucrative work niya na nakafocus ka sa social media. Although, most likely, pwede ka, kapag freelancing ka, pwede kang mag-contract or pwedeng pag tinawag ka lang sa kailangan kita for a certain period of time. Oo. At usually, ang mga freelancer, naka-register yan, no? And they have their own, para silang, company of one.
Yes.
Yun sila. So, kapag ikaw naman ay meron ka ng group of freelancer, ay ano ka na, either enterprise ka na o ano ka na yung company or partnership ka na, hindi ka na company of one. Whereas yung consulting, medyo, although
Ang level yan.
Iba yung level
Oo.
ng consultant.
Yes. Siguro to add to that, Miss Carmen, para rin sa audience natin na hindi sila malito on freelancing or freelance jobs compared to consulting or consultancy jobs. May konti silang pinagkaiba, pero ang consultant pwedeng maging freelance consultant. So,
Okay.
yes, umpisahan natin dun sa freelancing or freelancer. Yung mga freelancers, may mga jobs kasi, actually marami, hindi ilan. Maraming jobs na mention na kanina, no? Photography, videography, kahit nga yung pagbo-bookkeeping, yan, virtual assistant, ayan, writing, madami, kahit nga yung English tutorial, yung mga online classes for ESL.
Right.
Freelance yan. Kasi ang sinasabi sa freelance, it is a type of job na hindi ka bound para maging isang full-time employee ng isang company. You can serve multiple companies at the same time.
Right.
Kung halimbawa, English tutor ka ng ESL, yung mga uso ngayon na online teaching, for example, 3 kliyente mo or nagtuturo ka sa 3 ESL companies, isa sa umaga, isa sa tanghali, isa sa gabi, pwede yun. And ang kagandahan kasi ng freelancing, you can earn more. More than more than your possible salary sa buwanan mong susweldohin kapag ikaw ay full-time employee. And ang consultancy or consultant naman, pwede silang freelance kasi pwede silang mag-serve ng multiple clients all at the same time. Pero lahat naman yan bound sa isang kontrata or kung ano ang kontrata na pinagkasunduan ninyo. Kasi ang difference naman ng consultant, yung expertise na meron ng isang consultant, yun ang binabayaran at yun ang kinukuha ng kumpanya. Or kung hindi man ng company, ng isang organization, no? Kahit an organization, kahit nga government, kahit government agency, pwede kang kunin as consultant eh. Ganun kalawak ang pwedeng mapagtrabahuhan ng isang consultant. Kumbaga, ang kinukuha sa'yo, expertise mo to resolve problems and to straighten up problems. Tama ba, ma'am? Yun naman talaga yung
Right. Oo.
yun ang
Kumbaga, ikaw yung mas mataas ka sa lahat noon kasi consultant ka eh.
Yes. So, even sa CEO, baka kapantay mo pa nga ang CEO.
Oo, tama.
Or
even more.
or even more because
Oo.
kasi ang CEO na nag-hire pa ng consultant sa labas kasi he himself cannot fix the problem. So, para bang in layman's term, parang masarap yatang tawagin na problem resolver si consultant. Kasi alam nyo ba, ngayong pandemic, alam naman natin na it's very sad na maraming industries ang nagsara, nahirapan, bumagsak, or tumagilid. Pero you know what? May tinatawag na development industry or development sector. So, development industry or development sector, ito ang tumaas at lumipad ng sobra ngayong pandemic. Dahil napakaraming problemang aayusin, hindi lang sa government, pati sa mga private companies. Dahil marami ngayon may tinatawag na walang business continuity plan. Everybody was caught off guard and maraming walang business continuity plan. And hindi lang naman ito, no, ang expertise ng consultant. Marami ang expertise ng consultant depende sa kung anong kailangan mo at yun ang hahanapin mo. Kaya ang masasuggest ko at saka maa-advise ko, huwag tayo pirma ng kontrata. When we are offered with something, we need to make sure. Kasi, ang dami dyan, Ma'am Carmen, pampabango ba ng pangalan, ng role,
Right.
position title, para maakit yung mga mga kinahire nila or yung mga tinatarget nilang mag-work para sa kanila. Nilalagyan, kunyari, sales consultant. Pero ang gagawin mo, magbebenta ka ng produkto. Actually, wala namang problema or hindi naman masama yung ganong work, no? Yung work na nagbebenta ka ng product or service. Pero, as HR practitioners, dapat careful tayo when we create or when we write contracts about sa mga roles and taong mga hinahire natin. Kasi, hindi pwedeng kinokontract natin sila as consultant, pero iba yung role na nakalagay or naka-ascribe dun sa kontrata. So, kaya, sabi ko nga, Ma'am Carmen, this is a very good point for discussion kasi maraming nalilito sa freelancers and consultants. So, ang consultant pwedeng maging freelancers kasi you can serve multiple. Pinagkaiba nila ang freelancers kasi they have different kinds of skills. And yung skills na yun, nyari, photography, video editing, social media marketing, yan. Yung mga skills na yan, pwede nilang gawin yan for you for a certain price. Tapos, pwedeng paulit-ulit mong silang kunin para sa same set of skills para i-deliver yung job na yon. So, maaring iba-iba rin yung, parang consultant din sila in effect. Kaya lang, ang consultants kasi mas mataas in terms of expertise. Kasi usually, ang expertise ng consultants ay may ano kasi yun may price involved din. Of course, you do not pay peanuts when you're hiring a consultant kasi you're not paying them as a person but you're paying for their service and for their expertise. Tama ba, ma'am?
Correct.
So, sa freelancers naman, you're paying for the job they do for you. And when you hire them to do the job that you need, so meron din katapat na price yun. And ang kagandahan lang sa parehas na role or parehas na job, you can actually serve multiple clients. So, it means you can have multiple contracts with different clients.
Right.
Meron bang disadvantage yun? Ray, ikaw, may disadvantage ba ang freelancing? Tsaka, Miss Carmen, meron din ba sa consultancy? May disadvantages din ba? Kasi, I guess, na-pick up na nila yung magagandang parts.
Ako, kasi sa consultancy, depende yan sa scope of work and the number of hours na pwede mong ubusin sa isang araw. Like, halimbawa, if within 3 months, you are expected yung contract mo ay 3 months or let's say 90 days o 9 days. Pero, ang deadline mo ay 3 months pa. You can do the 9-day work within 3 months. Ano? So, pwede kang kumuha na ang mga additional jobs, additional consultancy. Pero kapag ang ginagawa mo ay talagang depende rin sa type of work mo, ang ano kasi dito, yung point natin do is you deliver on time, no? So as long as you can deliver on time, you can get clients, yung mga consultancies mo, pwede ka kumuha ng mga clients based on na kaya mo, no? Pero kapag ikaw ay sumobra ka ng clients tapos hindi mo na-handle yung time mo, that is also you will have a bad reputation.
Yes, I agree. Kasi I guess, regardless kung consultant ka, freelancer ka, or full-time employee ka, you really have to work with professionalism and you have to deliver right on time. Kasi if you're always late, ay, patay tayo dyan. Pati pay mo, patay. Patay ang pay mo. Ikaw, Ray, how's your experience as a freelancer? Meron din bang disadvantage or you're enjoying much the advantage part?
Masyado kasi subjective yung tungkol sa advantages eh. More of sa akin advantageous first given my health condition and my status as a PWD. Ayun, nakapagtrabaho pa rin ako. It's just like, you're working inside the confines of an office. And since may technology na, ayun, na-outweigh pa rin yung advantages dahil meron ng mga tools kagaya ng Zoom, Microsoft Teams, yung pang-meeting sa Google Meet, yun, Skype in some way, or Slack. You can still interact with your colleagues, with your peers.
Yeah, virtually.
Kahit virtual lang setting. Yun nga, provided na tamang equipment mo, na yung computer mo is na-meet yung minimum specs and at the same time, pati rin yung internet speed.
Right.
Yes, oo, isa rin yan.
Importante.
Agree. So, if you're thinking, guys, to do a freelance job or mag-shift na sa freelancing, you need to be ready kasi tayo ang may sagot sa sarili nating internet. Tayo rin ang may sagot sa sarili nating computer. Tama ba? Oo. And you need to pass kung ano man yung requirements ng inaay mo na company for freelance jobs. Kasi when you're a freelancer, you are self-employed. Meaning, ikaw ang amo ng sarili mo at ang sarili mo ang kumpanya mo. So, you have to sell your skills sa kumpanyang tina-target mo hanggang sa makapag-build ka ng malaking client, database of clients, at paulit-ulit mo silang nabibigyan ng serbisyo mo. At doon yung sinasabi natin, mas lucrative nga yung pagiging freelancer. Kasi, ang downside naman ng freelancing, kahit nga freelance consultant ka, ang disadvantage, kumbaga wala kang sweldo per month. Yan, per project basis. So, dapat talaga, you have to really work hard, look for clients na where you can sell your expertise and they'll get you as a freelance worker or as a consultant. Otherwise, wala. No work, no pay. So, yan na na-experience naming tatlo. No work,
Saka
no
isa
pay.
pa, no, Prissy, kung ikaw na sa mainstream employment ka, may health insurance ka, meron ka nga SSS, meron ka pag-ibig, at kung ano-ano pa, sa freelancing, sagot mo lahat yan.
Ay, yes. Super correct. Wala kaming ganyan. Wala kaming health protection or wala kaming health insurance. Tapos yung
HMO.
mga HMO. Yan. Tapos kapag bayaran ng mga mandated deductions, yung mga pag-ibig, PhilHealth, ganyan. Ako, tayo rin yan kapag kahit consultant ka or freelancer ka for a certain set of skills, ay sagot natin lahat yan. At tayo rin maglalakad, walang
Right.
lahat yan. Kaya, yan yung mga disadvantage.
And
And,
IR mo, ikaw maglalakad niya.
correct. At napakahirap maglakad sa BIR. Sorry po if I say that, pero sa experience ko sa paglalakad ng BIR ko for my consultancy, sobrang ang bagal ng proseso, ang daming transaksyon na pwede sanang mabawasan yung haba ng proseso, pero syempre you have to deal with it, diba? Okay. So,
May I also add lang
yes, please.
on pertaining to the disadvantages. Well, it is also important for both freelancers and consultants na it's either you have to work two jobs or you have a backup or you start looking for a backup, because if yun nga, and you also have to pay attention dun sa contract, kasi if for example yun nasarapan ka sa pag-work and you were not wary of yung contract or duration ng gig mo, and all of a sudden, well, God forbid that for any reason, dahil nga, well, nagko-compound rin yung pandemic ngayon, yung hindi matapos-tapos na pandemic, mag-end yung contract mo, or yes, mag-lapse or mag-end yung contract mo, tapos back to square one ka. Well, dapat maging maagap ka para hindi mangyari, kasi if that happens, then magsa-stop din yung income stream mo.
Right, tama. At dapat din maging proactive ka na hindi ka na uubusan kung talagang ito yung gagawin mong bread and butter. You also have to connect and promote yourself.
Yeah, so if you're a freelancer and a consultant, you have to create ano tawag dyan? Not just a
Yeah,
Facebook
an
page,
image, no?
an image.
Oo.
You have to have reputation na meron kang and credibility that you can deliver this kind of job.
Right.
Lalo na sa consultancy, if I may just emphasize, hindi pwedeng sumigaw ka lang sa kalye na I am a consultant. Kasi kailangan ipakita mo yan sa kaalaman mo at sa tama mo. Sa paraan na kung paano mo maitatama kung ano yung pinaparesolve nila sa'yo. Kasi kanina nga, di ba, yung consultant, binigyan ko ng other name, which is problem solver. Di ba? Kasi, yun nga, yun talaga ang role ng consultant. Kasi yun yung i-resolve or yun ang isosolve ng kanyang expertise. And with that, meron tayong tinatawag na development industry or development sector. Sa development sector or industry, ito yung isang area na marami din ang consultant, 'di ba? Pag sinabi kasi nating development sector or development industry, kasi maraming industries, 'di ba? Let's say health industry, 'yan. Sales industry, education or teaching industry, madami. Iba-iba kasi ang industriya na pwedeng pagtrabahuhan ng mga tao. Hindi lang sa full-time, parehas din sa mga freelancers or consultants. So, sa development sector, let's discuss this more kasi mas ito yung marami ang taong nalilito kung ano ang development industry or development sector. Ang industry na to ay tungkol sa fights or social advocacies that you want to
social causes.
You want to help or you want to parang promote. So, mga social causes yan. And you work with international organizations, big charity groups. You also work with government agencies. And you also work with social movements or social groups. No, yan yung mga ginagalawan ng mga taong or mga consultants na nagtatrabaho sa development sector. At sa industry na to, kailangan talaga ng mga consultants with technical expertise. Bakit? Kung mahilig tayo magbasa or tinitingnan natin yung mga latest updates about development sector, sobrang lakas niya ngayon lalo na sa pandemic. Pangalawa, hindi lang sa malakas no na kumukuha yung mga companies or organizations sa mga consultants. Isa pang kagandahan dito sa development sector, yung fulfillment mo as a consultant kasi meron kang direct impact. When we say direct impact, after ng project mo, more or less malaki yung masasabi natin na itulong mo dun sa organization na yon or sa project na yon, 'di ba ma'am? Kasi
Right.
meron ka kagad immediate contribution at mabilis siyang ma-translate into action. At yun yung gagamitin to resolve whatever issue it might be. Kung bakit ka kinuha for that particular project. So, sa development sector, ang laging goal dyan kahit engineering ka or engineer ka rather, tas nagko-consulting work ka for development sector, kahit ano man yung area mo ng expertise mo, whether HR man yan or education, ang pinakamaganda sa development industry, may direct impact yan. And hindi lang siya about the money that you get from the job, di ba ma'am? Kasi may
Right.
kakambal siya na fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
Yung happiness that you are able to help a certain organization, a certain community through your expertise. So, yan ang development sector. At isa na po dyan yung disability kasi lagi itong napag-iiwanan o hindi man masyadong napag-uusapan. Pero disability inclusion is actually one of the areas na ginagalawan ng mga consultants sa development sector. So, under sa development sector din yan kasi sabi nga natin, pag development industry, may mga social causes tayo na pinupush forward using our expertise. So ma'am, last, before we move to an exciting, parang mini game lang naman yun, ma'am. Paano ba maging consultant, ma'am? Meron bang paraan for us to move into that field? Tsaka Ray, meron ba tayong tips din how to become a freelancer? May mga ano ba to? Meron ba kayo based on your experience? Meron kayong ma-share?
Yes. Alam mo, unang-una, no, kasi ang tinitingnan ng development market ay yung unang-una, yung education. No? How, kasi dito ma-measure kung ano ang alam mo tungkol sa issue na ipapagawa sa iyo. Next is experience, no? Usually, ang mga consultant, they were people who have experience, work experience, or being immersed with the sector that your client is working with. And dito rin, at syempre, pag consultant ka, kailangan you should have a very good communication skills, meron kang research skills, meron kang to sum it up, you have knowledge, understanding, and experience about the topic. So, if you are confident that you have all those qualifications, then you can be a consultant. At saka pag ginawa ko na ng matagal, halimbawa, nagsulat ka ng libro, no, about a certain topic, and you work with many communities about writing that book, then you can use that as a proof that you are knowledgeable in your field. And like for example, if they know that you're a person who is deaf, and you have lived experience as a deaf, you have the understanding of a deaf issues, then you can be a consultant for a deaf related project. So ako I think our two guests Jet and Hazel are very capable of providing input to most of deaf related projects because they have lived experiences with deaf and they are educated and they have also worked extensively with different projects of EFT. So, pwede silang consultant.
True. So, talagang ano yan, ma'am? It's really a matter of competencies, skills talaga, and qualifications. Parang sa eleksyon, no? Parang HR din kayo. Dapat parang katulad namin, HR, marunong kumilatis ng aplikante. Di ba pag eleksyon, maraming aplikante. So, dapat kung paano namin kilatisin ang mga aplikante, dapat ganun din tayo next year. Anyway, sinegway ko lang naman, pero hindi yun ang topic natin. So, siguro maging matalino tayo next year for that. And, kumbaga, kung paano parang paano nagiging matinik yung mga HR sa pagpili ng mga job applicants nila. Sana ganun din tayo katinik next year. Ray, any tips? Freelancing? Mahirap ba maghanap o kaya naman maghanap ng mga clients?
Well, for freelancing, first tip that I could share to everyone is to first, you have to make sure na ma-identify mo muna yung niche mo. Like, you have to identify where you're good at, what you're best, what you can do best, and what you can contribute best. Kasi, parang, dapat alamin mo kung ano specialization mo. Ako, let me just cite as an example. Pinaka-niche ko talaga when I started out sa freelancing industry was customer service. Kasi, yun yung halos naging bread and butter ko. And, ayun, I started out with customer service, tapos eventually naging dispatch ako for ride sharing and naging workforce, and at the same time naging virtual assistant ako. When you say kasi virtual assistant, hindi lang naman isang lang yan, hindi lang naman yan yung isang line of work ang gagawin mo eh. You have to, it's like you're sabihin na lang natin.
Dapat mo din yan, Ray, kasi yung iba, parang mababa ang pinaglat sa mga virtual assistant. But they don't know. Really,
ay, hindi hindi mababa yun Baka magulat ka, mas malaki pa ang kinikita niyan sa'yo.
Correct.
Kasi narinig nila na virtual assistant lang, but you don't know the work of virtual assistant. Not anybody can be one.
Correct. Parang sa call center agent before, nung bago pa lang yung BPO. Tapos yun nga, pag sinabing, anong trabaho mo? Call center agent ako. Call center agent lang? Naman dahil nagkaroon ng shift.
Oo.
Nagkaroon ng career shift, virtual assistant naman yung nilalang nila. Personally kasi I don't mind yung mga negative connotations nila about virtual assisting. But these people do not realize na yan na ngayon ng yan ang lalong-lalo na sa tinatawag nilang bagong normal. Yan ang ngayon ng yan ang basically ang in jobs ngayon, ang in demand eh. Although yes, meron pa ring mga call center jobs, specifically yung mga call center jobs that required the employee to report physically. Well, we would understand kasi may mga client requirements yan, especially if ang hinahandle is a financial account na hindi naman pwedeng take home job yan.
Right.
But let's face it, mas dumadami ngayon yung opportunities when it comes to yun nga, yung mga freelance, mga virtual assistants, mga ganun. And yun nga, for as long as you know what you're good at and you have the right equipment. That is, as mentioned earlier, whilst you're in the process of transitioning to become one, once you have identified where you're good at and once you have this resolve na, yes, pwede, I can be a good I can be a good freelancer. I can be a successful freelancer. I know I have what it takes and I have the equipment. You also have to yun nga, invest. Also, make sure also that you learn the right skills. These skills can either be, acquired on your current employment, or if not, and if you have, the time, meron naman mga self-learning courses about building your skill set aside from practicing. If for example, kasi sa virtual assistants, kasi sa pagiging freelancer pala, I'm sorry, maraming skills yan eh. Although ako ang Waterloo ko, alam ko kasi ang pera ngayon nasa Amazon, at saka nasa Amazon yung mga virtual mga freelancing jobs related to Amazon. Hanggang ngayon, kahit sabihin ko may niche ako, deep inside gusto ko pa ring ma-penetrate yan eh. Although siguro with the current medyo nagda-die down yung drive ko kasi may identified niche na ako. Pero if you have that, then you have to acquire the correct skills, no? Meron naman mga courses diyan, and that is also one of the things that you would have to consider when you build an attractive portfolio, kasi you will sell yourself eh. This is basically unlike doing job hunting, personal pa nga. Ang panlaban mo kasi when you do online jobs, especially freelancing, ang portfolio mo, ang resume mo eh. That is how you will sell. That is how you are to sell yourself to employers. And not only that, in most cases, especially if you look at openings, lalong-lalo na sa mga sa mga freelancing portals, kagaya ng Upwork, karaniwan, you don't have a gate. You do not pass through a gatekeeping HR. When you submit your applications, oftentimes, ang makakabasa nun, yung mismo CEO. So you always have to be competitive. Dapat ang mindset mo is your game face on. And you also have to, with you being competitive, you also have to, you have to stand out. Kasi ang competitors mo is the whole world and not just your peers or not even your countrymen, but
Yes.
your competition is the entire world.
Global din yan eh. Yeah, that's right. And for HR, no, sabi nga ni Ray, hindi ka na dumadaan sa isang HR dun sa Upwork nga or sa ibang platforms din for remote employment. Totoo yan. And kaya nga sa HR, we really need to invest on ourselves as to how we can go up sa strategic HR management. Kasi kapag nasa transactional pa tayo, hindi talaga tayo, we are replaceable, and we will discuss more on that on other HR series. So going back to freelancing and consultancy, I guess the best way to put it is we really have to invest on education and really immerse ourselves sa ground. Kasi pag hindi natin alam ang ground natin, how can we become an expert to what we're saying na ganito dapat na gawin dyan, etc., etc. And alongside with that, we have to increase also our knowledge by educating ourselves, by helping ourselves to learn more through different ways. Anyway, Miss Carmen, any other tip before we move?
If you work as a freelancer or as a consultant, you are on your own. Dahil you work alone, you have your own time to wake up, you may have not more time to do other things, but you really have to take a break. And don't overdo, because all work, no play, especially you're looking at the computer all the time. That's really something that you have to look into. No, love yourself, and don't be a slave in front of your computer.
Yes, sabi nga nila ngayong mga work from home meron ng blur, ano to, may blurry line na between personal and work life.
Right.
So, alisin natin yung blurry line na yan between work and personal life. So, dapat talagang makita natin ng malinaw ang kaibahan or yung separation nila. Pag me time na, tama na ang work. Anyway, so, thank you, Miss Carmen. Hi, Miss Carmen. So, for the next segment, meron tayong parang mini game. Fast Ask with Miss Carmen. So, we'll fire questions to you since veterano ka na. Ano ba yan, ma'am?
Okay, go.
Ma'am, wag ka na magulat kasi baka mamaya sabihin mo, chicken lang yung questions namin. Anyway, so like what I said earlier, no, sabing, sa development sector, isa ang disability solution sa maraming dapat trabahuhin pa ng maraming consultants at ng iba't iba pang consultants. So, sa Fast Ask with Carmen, magfa-fire kami ng tuloy-tuloy na question and we would like to know her quick response or quick answers to the question since ayun nga, no, matagal na nagko-consultancy si ma'am. So, tignan natin kung sa tagal ng consultancy ni ma'am, hindi niya pa nakakalimutan ang mga dapat gawin kasi baka mamaya sa sobrang tagal na nakalimutan na. Anyway, bago tayo magsimula sa Fast Ask with Miss Carmen, mabuhay muna at maligayang pagbati kay Miss Phoebe and kay Sir June. Siya yung ating sign language interpreters na kanina niyo pa nakikita when we started. Hello, kaway-kaway. Ayan, si Sir June tsaka si Miss Phoebe, ang ating mga sign language interpreters. At siguro familiar kayo sa kanila, no? Kasi nakikita niyo sila sa 24 oras sa GMA. Tama ba, Sir June, Miss Phoebe?
Right. News 5.
Sa News 5 din.
News 5, 24 oras, sa 6, sa normaly.
Ayan. Mga freelancers, yan. O, diba? Meron tayong examples ng mga matitikas na freelancers. And hindi lang freelancers, celebrity pa. O, diba?
Right.
Okay, Fast Ask with Miss Carmen. First question, ma'am. Anong say mo sa inclusive employment ng persons with disabilities? Marami pa rin kaming kinakaharap. Tayo, kasama ka doon, na discrimination, pagdududa sa skills and abilities of persons with disabilities. Anong say mo?
Kasalanan niya ng gobyerno.
Ay.
Kasi sila dapat yung unang-una. Sila dapat yung unang-unang nag-i-implement. But hindi nila ini-implement dahil hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa rin sila yung mga hindi nila ina-align yung mga kanila mga policies sa mga local government units, hindi pa masyadong na-air. Kaya yung hiring of persons with disability, although nag-hire sila, but they are not really included because they have no provisions for them like sign language interpreters, mga physical facilities, and even in the private companies, persons with disabilities were there, but they were just there. They're not really included. Kaya inclusive employment is something that we really have to work on. Yung mga nandun na, let's work for it.
So, hindi pwede ang tokenism or charity employment?
That has no place in inclusive society. Tokenism has no place, but there has to be real inclusion, meaning that they understand what the deaf means, they understand what the blind means, and they understand what people with physical disabilities need. Diba? Hazel?
Yes. Tama po. So,
I agree po. I agree.
ayun, agree daw po.
Agree.
So, we have one of your, meron kaming surprise. So, we have Weng Rivera, our friends, our dear friend from the research work that you have done in the past. Miss Carmen, naalala niyo po ba si Weng?
Of course.
Of course.
There and
At sa marami pang iba.
marami pang iba.
The projects na pinagsalu-saluhan natin. So,
Right.
Weng is part of the FSLAC or Filipino
Yes.
Sign Language Association
And
Cooperative.
also, Weng is a scholar of Daskin. She studied in Japan.
Yes, Daskin Scholar yan from Japan. So, i-google nyo na lang yung Daskin Leadership. Baka mamaya pwede rin naman pala kayo
Oo.
sumali doon. So,
At
check nyo na
hira
lang.
ang nakakapasa doon, ha?
Malupit kasi itong si Weng eh. Sobrang
Oo.
lupit nito. Daskin, Scholar. Okay, Weng. Fire! Fire question.
So I would like to ask Ma'am Carmen, I'd like to ask you, Stacy, among the deaf community po, usually our issues or marami kami issues, kagaya ng other persons with disabilities. So mostly our issue is on the FSL accessibility. So there are 6. We have FSL law. So, paano kaya mai-implement yung FSL law sa ngayon?
FSL law
Law.
daw, Carmen.
Okay.
Philippine Sign Language Law.
Well, as of now, no, we can see na talaga na mga in some areas na i-implement siya like sa broadcast media, mga newscast na sa mga seminars, sa mga webinars, na-implement yung pagkakaroon ng FSL interpreter. Kasi kayo lang naman din yun, ano? But the problem is, even if we want to expand the scope of sign language interpreting, kulang ang mga interpreter. We don't have much interpreters in the country na and marami pa rin sinasabi yung batas kung paano ma-enhance yung kung paano bawa certification ng ng sign language interpreters. Wala pa tayong guidelines kung paano ipapatupad ng TESDA or ng CHED yung formal certification ng mga FSL interpreters. So really it's nasa development process tayo, and it's not an easy job na pag na-implement, pag na-pass yung to ngayon, mai-implement agad. No, we have to develop people. And it will only happen if if they will give our senior FSL interpreters the opportunity to be teachers, to be mentors, and certify them right away that they will be the one to teach the new breed of FSL interpreters para dumami sila. And we know that it's really a must, lalo ngayon, that if we want also that inclusive education be implemented here in the Philippines from K-12 hanggang college, we have to have a lot of interpreters in schools, because we don't want anymore that all deaf students will sit in one class and all blind children will sit in one class, but they all have to be in regular classes. And for that to happen, there has to be services like FSL, interpreters in every classroom where there is deaf, and accessible learning materials and guides for blind children in every classroom, in every regular classroom. So we have to develop disability support services, no? And disability support services is very essential for our children with disabilities to grow in a normal environment, in a regular environment. We cannot separate them. We have to disband special schools, but only we have resource centers where children with multiple learning problems can go and then back to the regular classroom, and resource center only to respond to their special needs. So that is how we envision special inclusive education in the Philippines. So it's a development process. We have to work on it. Like if you are deaf and you have the ability, go and apply for work for FSL to spread FSL and to teach more people to learn FSL. You cannot hide and then come up and ask what's happening. You have the ability to participate in the development process. And we need more deaf people to participate. So, don't hide, go out, participate, and do your best.
Ayun, do not hide.
So, very true sabi ni Weng.
Weng.
We have more leaders like here, si Sir Jet and Miss Hazel. So there has to be people na mag-lead and will actually spread out the knowledge about FSL. And it's not that we cannot stand by kasi pumasa na yung FSL. No. Kailangan kami yung gumawa din ng way to spread out or to be part of the development.
Yes, because in the end, sila yung mag-evaluate Like, who will evaluate the process but the deaf themselves if it's successful or not? We cannot say that it's successful if we don't hear the deaf saying it's successful.
Thank you, Ma'am Carmen. Sabi po ni Wayne. Thank you po. Thank you. Sabi rin po ni Hazel. Correct. Angel. Correct po.
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Ma'am Carmen. So, next question, Miss Hazel, sa Fast Ask with Carmen. Fire!
In addition po doon sa sinabi ni Wayne about the interpreters. So from my experience po, when I go to school, naka-mainstream kami before, usually po yung mga deaf ang nagbabayad sa interpreter. Yun po ang problema namin. So paano yun? For example, scholar na nga ako pero wala akong budget sa pagbayad sa interpreter. So nahihirapan po kami. Sana po yung government, alam naman nila na sa mga far-flung areas, lalo na place yun doon sa municipality. So, doon sa place, hihingi po kami ng hihingi pa daw po sila ng budget para mabudgetan yung pagbabayad sa interpreters. So, ang hirap, nahihirapan kami, kaantay namin. Paano, hindi kami makakatuloy sa klase kung wala kami interpreters. We cannot proceed with our classes without interpreters. So, nag-aantay kami ng matagal para sa mga ganung proseso.
Ngayon, very lucky na yung mga estudyante ngayon. If you are a scholar of Unipass, there is a cash provision for disability support service, and that is about 30,000 every semester. Like if you are deaf, you can hire your interpreter for some subjects, or you can record but you have to be creative on how you can be more how you can really make that 30,000 works for you in the whole semester. Like what you can do is you can record a 1-hour session, and then you can ask your interpreter to interpret it for you. Diba? Mas madali instead na. And also, we can also ask for some reasonable accommodation to the school, that they have to be more visual when it comes to creating materials for teaching. they have to think
Mhm.
that there are that deaf student can learn even with non-verbal with non-verbal, as long as it's being demonstrated in a video or in a PowerPoint. But most likely, what you can do is ask them to record, give you the recording to record the section. Or if you're lucky enough, you can ask them to. That is if you're outside of safety Nilda, because usually sa safety Nilda, naka-built in yung sign language interpreter doon. So,
Ano po yung Unifast, Miss Carmen? Para lang
Unifast
sa,
is
ano
parang
ibig
yung
sabihin?
jet, no? Yung university, it's an unified scholar, yung unified financial assistance for education, for all scholarship, for all to, no, pero for person with disability may additional cost sila for disability support services.
Okay. Pang college lang po ba yan?
College, oo, college lang siya.
College. So, yung mga gusto
Oo.
mag-MA, Masters, hindi
That is,
napasok.
iban ayan, usually mga universities na sila mag-a-apply.
I
Sabi
see.
po ni Hazel, marami pong needs for interpreting ang deaf, hindi lang mo for education but mostly for employment and right wing. Diba?
Right, oo. Sa employment naman, I'm sure not all of the time you will need interpreter na only because you work because you know how to read and write. And usually we can avoid being too much of a burden sa employer kung gusto mo talaga na magtatrabaho ka, no? Kasi usually, if we demand too much from the employer, that really turn them off. Parang napakalaki problema pag nag-hire ng deaf. So we really have also to be cooperative and show them that we can also adjust. Not all of the time they will adjust for us. We also need to adjust. Because we know how to read. We are employed because we know how to read and write. We know how to express with our writing. And that is where we can show that we are not really a burden. No? So, if you think you can do it, tell them you can do it, and tell them where you need help. Because it's not just a one-way relationship between a deaf employee and the employer. If they can give you accommodation, then you also have to give that something that
Parang it takes two
tell
to
them.
tango.
It takes two to tango, no?
Yeah. Oo.
Yun ang kakaratiwan kasi na feedback when it comes to persons with disability. They parang we really have to learn how to negotiate with the employers if we want to work, because employers are not really much aware of what we need. Tapos pag nalaman nila, nakita nila na you're asking things that they cannot give, then that's the end of it. And that affects also other future applicants with disabilities in the company. So marami naman tayo mga successful na deaf employees. They have a very good employee-employer relationship. And that is because they also learn how to negotiate with the employers.
Okay po. So, Sir Jet, fire question sa Fast Ask with Carmen.
pag-invite niyo sa amin dito about the concerns of the PWDs. Curious lang po ako, how do you think po kayo, yung mostly sa mga PWD sector, especially kapag during the disaster, alam niyo naman ang bansa natin, disaster prone tayo, yung when it comes to the response of the government, paano kaya may include yung mga deaf? Sa mga ibang disability po kasi medyo mas madali kaysa sa deaf dahil yung iba po naririnig naman nila yung mga warnings, pero sa deaf po medyo may kahirapan. Paano po kaya ang matutugunan?
Right. No, sa barangay pa lang, no, where you live, there is already a barangay disaster risk and reduction committee. And a person with disability should be a member of that committee. So you can educate them. You have to educate the barangay to respond. And although there are so many community projects about BRR in many local government units, they do not involve the deaf. No, that is a very sad part of it, because deaf people do not participate because they always fear that they will not be disregarded. But deaf people should learn how to assert their rights at the barangay level. You have to find other deaf people and other persons with disabilities who can have an audience with your barangay leaders and tell them what you need when it comes to disaster, and show them some materials that they have to study about how to involve persons with disabilities, especially the deaf, the blind, and those with severe disabilities, and parents also for children, no? Like the parents can always be a good companion for you, because they can tell the officials what you need. And I'm sure the schools in the barangays have at least one teacher that knows how to sign. So I think you really have to go out, and you have to be an example. I'm always proud of the Boholanos who are there, because you are there. So you have to take the lead, because you are one of the deaf who is educated, and you can contribute more to your community. Who knows, in the future we will have the first deaf barangay captain. Yeah. I will push for
maybe
that.
why not? I don't know, pero
If that is to promote deaf people, why not? Because we want to show them that deaf people are intelligent if you give them the chance.
May question daw po si Weng.
Tapos na ba si Jet? Tapos na si Jet?
Apo.
Okay.
now si Weng po, may tanong po, si Weng. Kung po pwede, can I ask another question? Sabi niyo.
Sige po.
Like, yung evaluation, Miss Carmen,
Right.
if we put on the deaf to evaluate, to check, especially yung mga teachers na mga hearing, and they have somebody who's deaf na para maging consultant, kung sila ay pwedeng mag-interpreter or somebody na pwede ilagay na interpreter to act as interpreter, we will appreciate that kung kami yung magiging consultant. We will help in the evaluation. And then, sana kasama din kami sa pag-advocate dito. Pero sa mga hearing kasi, nagre-rely sila kasi masyado sa interpreter, kung ano sinasabi ng interpreter. Especially sa mga discussion, parang nale-left out yung mga deaf, kung ano ba talaga yung tama or kung ano ba talaga yung tama o kung ano yung sinasaloobin ng mga deaf. So ano ba yung so it's right na kami kasama sa evaluation, maybe to lead. We appreciate that, and sana i-advocate nyo ma'am yung idea na inclusion ng mga deaf na kami yung maging primary evaluator ng mga magiging interpreters to be.
This is our culture, sir.
Especially if it is, alam naman natin na we talk about the identity of the deaf, the culture of the deaf, who knows better about the deaf, kundi mga deaf din. So, hindi dapat tinatanong about the deaf yung mga hearing. As much as possible, sana mas tinatanong yung mga deaf about deafness, culture, identity, etc. even sign language.
Right. In fact, I have yung aking broadcast, live broadcast show, much as I want to invite a deaf or make the broadcast accessible for all. Alam mo, I feel guilty talaga na I don't have a sign language interpreter in that broadcast because it's being widely shown and there are deaf people. Why there is no interpreter? It's because wala akong budget sa interpreter eh. And then I invited some interpreters if they can volunteer for the sake of pag-oo sila but they will not appear. So it's also hurting for us na interpreters are very few and they cannot just be pulled out to just to alam naman natin marami talagang opportunity sa interpreter dahil nga konti lang sila. But that is really one of the limitations of everybody to involve the deaf. And one thing is we cannot find deaf people's availability as well. Diba? Yung mga deaf na gusto natin, ang kasama natin, because they are good, they have a good grasp of the issue. Bihira lang ang deaf na may grasp, na may they know all the issue. No? And I choose you because I know you know the issues. So when I call people for shows like this, I see to it that they know the issue. Yeah, yan. And marami pa, but others kasi mahirap i-invite. So,
yes. Opo.
Yun. Can you do something about it? Like in Hazel's place, how many deaf do you have? And Jeff, how many deaf in Bohol? I know maraming deaf sa Bohol. And you have the deaf Federation of the Deaf.
I guess sa Bohol po, meron kaming we have
In our data po.
sa data na collect namin, less than 2,000, more than 1,800.
Hindi pa po namin na-update.
Pero yung data na to is, I think mag-i-increase pa pag na-update na.
Mm-hmm.
And we only have 3 interpreters in the whole island of Bohol. Tatlo lang po silang
See?
sa deaf community na tumutulong.
And we're discussing with the local government na sana mas sila ng mas maraming interpreter. Kasi
Right.
maraming mga meetings, mga PowerPoint
Nililipid
na
na lang daw na.
pinapanood lang namin, we don't understand kasi pag in-explain walang interpreter. So nagiging paper and pencil pag may mga tanong or may tanong
Right.
kami or sila. So it's very essential to have interpreters. Ganyan po yung experience namin sa Bohol dahil sobrang kulang yung interpreter.
That's really sad. That's really sad.
Hazel po parang she's raising her hand.
Ay, yeah. Yes, Hazel, go ahead.
I would like to add sa sinabi po ni Jet. I agree with him. Pareho kami. Ang hirap kumanap ng interpreter na basta-basta. For example, may interpreter, kunin mo sabihin interpreter daw siya, pero iba yung senyas niya. Hindi pa siya ganun ka proficient. Hindi namin naiintindihan. So, kailangan, we would, as much as possible, would like to get interpreters na dapat kilala namin. Kasi, minsan mali-mali din yung, kasi iba yung paraan ng pagtuturo niya. Minsan din yung pag-voice na may feedback kami na minsan mali yung pag-voice na ginagawa sa amin. Minsan sabi niya, wait lang, parang dun sa Deaf Association of Misamis or yun po yung sign name nung aming association. Tapos may contact. Parang paghihina kami ng loob kasi hindi maganda yung communication namin with other NGOs or other mga kausap namin because of yun nga, yung the interpreter factor.
Mm-hmm. Right, oo. In fact, kapag si Beng and Hazel and si Jet ang i-invite ko, I see to it that I only get the best interpreters. Because, what they
Ako
say...
din, ma'am. I get the best interpreters for them.
Right. Because, sayang kung hindi naiintindihan ng public kung ano yung nasa isip nila, and they are really brilliant people and I really respect their views.
Sabi naman ni Jet, Miss Carmen, it's a waste of money kapag kumuha ka ng interpreter, babayaran mo ng mahal, tapos hindi pala marunong mo siya.
No, we don't care about money. We care about the lesson that we will get from you.
I care about the competencies of of the interpreter kasi
kaya ako maghanap ng sponsors sa sa program natin.
Siguro na lang po before we move to Jay, sunod na question lang.
Kung sign si Miss Hazel kanina yung about
yes po. Sige
sabi
po.
po niya, kulang din po especially sa hospital kapag may mga emergency, sa halimbawa, sa mga seminars, sa colleges, sa mga clinic, sa mga infirmaries, mahirap po, lalo na kapag sa mga health concerns, even support, sa yung accessibility to justice. Marami po kaming nalalaman ng mga stories na they're stuck with their cases, hindi makapag-complain yung deaf na nare-rape. Kasi yun nga, wala silang pambayad sa interpreter, yun ang concern. Kana pa ang hindi mo yung justice, hindi mo makuhang justisya dahil sa kakawalan mo ng pera pambayad ng interpreter. Ikaw na yung nirape, tapos ikaw pa yung magbabayad, ikaw pa yung maghahanap ng parang yun sana po ang gusto namin i-advocate lalo sa gobyerno to find money or find budgetan ng
yes.
Very basic, very sad po sa elementary ngayon sa amin. Dahil yung mga teachers, kuha sila ng sped teachers, hindi professional. Paano sila magtuturo? Hindi ka sila makapag-communicate sa bata. So, sana man lang kumuha man lang sila ng assistant na para teachers na at least nakakapag-communicate sa mga bata.
But when it comes to compensation of sign language interpreters in court, alam mo, meron tayo and we have once you are accepted by the court as the interpreter of the complainant or the defendant, the government will pay the sign language interpreter. And but it's really very hard to collect, no? Kaya nga we were advocating then during my time that we want the regional court where the case is held to pay the interpreter. But they are very strict to their rules, and these rules are really a disadvantage to the deaf. So it seems that they cannot be flexible with the rule. Parang they cannot amend it. Rules can be amended, but it's only the willingness and the mindset of the people in government are very close mindset. That's why we really want that
Pwede po bang buksan
up with a law on that. Yeah.
Pwede bang mabuksan yung closeness na yun, ma'am?
Makatay na sila.
Grabe naman. Pero, on a...
Kasi, these people are really close-minded and the only solution is to change them with younger ones.
Kumbaga, kailangan talaga maging open talaga, no? Open to learn, open to understand new things, and collaborate. No? Collaboration and being open. I guess, malaking tulong talaga yun, Ma'am Carmen.
Right.
When we talk about development, inclusive policies, etc. etc. Okay. Next.
Jet, yata po, nagtataas ang kamay.
Yes, Jet.
That's it, ha?
Hindi pala, like to share. Not us. So, on the issue po, dun sa disability sensitivity, yung disability sorry, I forgot that. Sensibility training.
Okay.
DST. Nainatan na namin seminar before. So, napakalimutan na naman nila, as usual, yung interpreter.
Right.
So, humingi pa kami sa PIDAW, paano ba bayaran yung interpreter na kinuha namin. Kasi wala naman pala silang na-allocate na budget for that seminar. Pero pinapa-attend kami. So, sabi namin, bukas na. So, parang naging short notice yung naman. Akala namin meron na built-in na meron mo disability sensitivity. Minsan nangyari sa amin, parang kami pa nag-contribute para bayaran yung interpreter para dumating siya. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng thank you lang.
Right. Oo.
Kaya yung mga deaf na lang nag-shell out, kami na lang ang nagbayad. Kasi nga, wala palang budget. Seminar. Gusto lang po daw niyang i-share.
Yeah, I agree. Nakakalungkot sometimes that we really have to do it our way para lang mabigyan ng attention or matulungan yung kapwa natin na nangangailangan. And hopefully, magkaroon ng magagandang changes about these issues, no? Lalo na pag nagkaroon ng mga pagpapalit ng administration. Anyway, it's not election, it's not naisip ko lang 'yon. Na siguro baka may hope naman for changes, lalo na dumadami na rin naman ng mga consultants like you in the development sector. Hindi lang naman si Ma'am Carmen, dumadami na rin tayo. So, baka makatulong na tayo din sa mga organizations and government agencies. How to parang helping them to make their policies, processes, systems, and internal culture to become more inclusive. Okay? Next, hi Jay. Hi Jay, Jaylene.
Yes, hello.
Hi Jaylene, kamusta
Clear
ka?
naman ako, no? Clear naman ako.
Oo naman.
Ayan.
Kamusta ka, Jay?
Kaya okay lang naman. Ito, meron akong
Kakape?
lemonade dito.
Wow.
Kape. Medyo mainit kasi dito kaya lemonade na lang.
Lemonade. Kamusta sa Dagupan? Dagupan ba?
Yeah, Dagupan.
Ayan. All the way from Dagupan, ma'am. Isa siyang digital accessibility trainer sa Atrieve, and not just that, host din yan ng VFAL. It's a YouTube channel. It's visually impaired fashion and lifestyle. Sige, mamaya kwentuhan niya tayo about that. Fire question.
Okay, so in relation to digital accessibility, ayan, kasi po nag-start ang new normal or yung nag-lockdown, talagang lahat is naka-virtual na, 'di ba? Online na lahat, bibili ka na ng lugaw, online na lahat ng yung mga bagay na nagagawa na, which is naging advantage talaga for us na mga visually impaired, kasi kami yung mga talagang naging pinaka-assistive technology namin is the computer, 'di ba? Yung mga mobile devices.
Heavy user talaga kami ng
Yeah.
technology.
Yun talaga yung
Right.
aming friend. Yun nga lang, may mga challenges pa rin or mga inaccessibility issues, lalo na sa mga government websites. Kasi lahat din ng mga transactions ngayon sa government naka-online na rin. Pero although meron na rin step by step ba na gumagawa na ng action, pero marami pa rin talagang nagkakaproblema sa pag-access ng information. So, Miss Carmen, sino kaya yung government agency or sino kaya yung dapat mag-guarantee or sino dapat yung magsigurado ng access to information ng mga, hindi na ng mga blind, pati mga deaf,
Lahat.
diba? Yes,
Oo.
lahat.
Oo. Siyempre, ang DICT or the Department of Information and Communication Technology, because they dictate the technology, the ICT in this country, the rules and the policy, infrastructure, lahat. Sila yung nag-determine. So we really have to call their attention, no? Like for example, before we have asked them that they make all government website accessible for all, no? Which means na if they want their website to be the same as it look, then they can just put a button for accessibility, then it will be accessible.
Yeah.
But in some government website, meron silang ganon, no? Like if I'm not mistaken, yung BPI, they have that accessibility button. Yung iba, na-hack daw yung website nila, dati accessible. In fact, in-award namin noon yung DOLE, DPI, ang DSWD, and ano ba isa? But nung nauso yung hacking, no, nagkaroon ng hacking sometime in 2017, 2018. So nasira lahat, and then there is migration of to other site government na merong ginawang bagong government portal. So bago na naman tuloy silang bagong design na naman tuloy. So yung iba, they were able to comply. But others, siguro mga tamad talaga, no? Mga walang mga responsible talaga. So yun, there are yung mga government agency website na hindi talaga accessible. Like until now, yung ina-upload nila, like itong official cassette before, ina-upload nilang file ay image to PDF.
Yeah. Yes.
Yan, image to PDF. So pag sabi nila, hindi accessible yan kasi PDF. Oo nga, PDF. Kaya lang, PDF mo ay picture, scan.
Yeah.
So, paano yan mababasa ng ng script reader mo? Ikaw nga, magbasa ka, pumikit ka. So, ang ginagawa namin dyan, pag nagpapadala sila sa amin ng file, binabalik namin sa kanila, digitize. So far ngayon, si DILG, usually majority na kanya ina-upload na files ngayon, mga na digital na. Word to PDF. Kasi ang ginagawa namin dyan, like ako, pag gusto kong makita ko accessible siya, kino-convert ko siya. Pag kino-convert ko siya, malalaman ko na hindi ito digital file talaga. So, maraming sa government, even in the, kaya nga ngayon siguro ang Department of Justice will have a lot of marami silang ipapasubcontract na digitalization ng files nila, and that is a very good opportunity for us. If we can subcontract those sa digitization of some of the yung mga magdadami doon buong library nila, kasi lahat yun ay puro imaging.
Pati nga yung memorandum circular ng about accessibility hindi din accessible. yung mga nakikita sa ano, yung
Doon
mga
sa
downloadable.
How ironic.
Oo, yan yung sa DPWH saka dito sa ibang website yung mga old files talaga. Tapos yung sa accessibility law kasi usually more on graphics.
Yes. Di ba?
Or on graphics siya, pero wala siyang description kung ano yung
Wala.
tawag sa graphics. So yun lang nga dapat nalagyan talaga ng yung mga graphics nila wala description.
Yes.
Eh,
Graphic lang yung
ang
sinasabi.
gumawa rin,
Mm-mm.
si Jimmy ang author.
Alin po yung sa ano?
Yung accessibility law na implementing rules, yung puro graphics.
Puro graphics po siya. Wala talaga nababasa.
Meron naman nababasa, pero yung graphics, walang description.
Dapat may description yun. Kasi if we cannot hindi naman natin sinasabing tanggalin yung graphics. Kasi for everybody's reference, yung mga graphics kasi importante yan sa mga documents. Lalo na kung nag-explain ka ng mga reports, mga statistics. So okay lang yan nandyan. Ang kailangan lang is meron kang description sa ilalim para ma-describe lang yung tumataas ba yung graph, bumababa. Para, yun nga, mabuo natin yung sinasabing accessibility experience. Di ba, Jay?
Kasi yung screen reader namin, ang nababasa pag ito puro siya graphic. Sabi, ano daw yung graphic na yun? Yun. Kaya, ganun din po yung reklamo ng mga ibang blind students. Kasi, although talagang gumagawa na rin po yung DepEd ng way para maging accessible din yung mga documents nila. Ayan. Yun nga lang, lalo na po sa mga remote areas, yung mga medyo hindi naaabot talaga ng nahihirapan sila maka-access ng so yung mga modules nila, yan, naka-print pa rin. Yan, kahit braille sana or kahit audio version, wala talaga kasi pati internet kasi hirap din sila dun eh.
Hirap dapat i-audio na lang nila, ilagay sa USB.
Yes. Kaya nagngangailangan pa sila ng guardian, kaya may mga instances na instead na sila yung sumasagot, yan, tamad na magbasa yung
alam mo
yung
kasi,
guardian.
meron na kasing reader na Pilipino.
Yes,
at meron silang mga reader na kung English. So, it's just a matter of using the technology. Like, kung gusto nila talaga na
yung Google, ano ba yun, Jay? TTS?
Yes, Google TTS.
May
Meron na,
Filipino yun.
meron na po meron na pong Filipino accent.
Marami. In fact, I have 8 Filipino voices.
Dami na.
Diba? Kaya pag ako magbasa,
wow.
habang naglalaro ako, nagbabasa ako ng mga assignments ko. Diba?
Grabe.
Diba? So, gumagamit din si ma'am ng
yun nga din ang tinuturo ko sa ibang mga sa mga senior citizen that you really have to teach them how to go with the technology because to make life easy for them. Kala nila light lang ang makikitabang doon. Of course not.
Correct.
So it's really for all. Kaya wag silang maarte, ha?
Oo nga. Dapat talaga na-appreciate nila yan in a universal way.
Akala nila, hoy, ganun. Hindi niya alam, gagamitin niya din yung pagtanda niya.
Oo.
Correct.
Buti nga tinutulungan niya siya na ma-prepare ng maaga. Okay. Anything else, Jay? Meron ka pa?
Yan.
Fire question.
Ano ko na lang, yung next pa. Okay, sige. Ayan, so, talking about digital inclusion din. So, ito din po yung isang nagiging issue aside from accessing the government websites or yung mga documents sa education, ganyan. Or pati yung mga sa employment na maraming skilled na mga blind pero hindi natatanggap dahil hindi nila ma-access yung mga applications na ginagamit sa work, ganyan. So, ito naman po yung isa pang issue na yung sa mga bank, yung mga applications ng bangko. And before kasi, di ba, prior to the pandemic, at hindi ko lang sure kung hanggang ngayon issue pa rin na maraming bangko na hindi nila pinapayagan yung mga blind na mag-open ng kanilang sariling account. So, kailangan joint account or kailangan hindi lang siya yung paano siya pipirma, mga ganon-ganon. Hindi ko lang alam kung hanggang ngayon ay dala-dala pa rin yun, yung ganon.
Oo, hanggang ngayon nangyayari pa yan.
Hanggang ngayon, okay.
Sa akin, yung mga nagsumbong sa akin, nakakuha sila. Yung mga hindi nagsumbong, hindi sila nakakuha. Ay,
So,
kasi talaga
maraming
pinakawa
ganon.
ko yung bangko.
Ayan,
Pero
so
ngayon,
pati yung apps,
in
yung mga
response to
apps.
that, kasi during the Senate hearing, kahit hindi kasali sa agenda, I brought that up kasi nakita ko yung Bako Central, no? So, I mentioned that during the hearing about the inaccessibility of financial services for the blind, especially opening a bank account.
Yes.
And, the chairman na Committee on Persons with Disability was really shocked, and she was kaya inaabot natin ang kalahating oras sa pag-explain ko sa kanya why there is a need for the deaf to open their own bank accounts. Because the deaf are earning that much working online, and they need bank account to get their salary. And these stupid banks, they don't allow deaf to open bank account on the basis of baka maloko, baka ganito, ganyan. Sabi ko, don't you know that they are computer experts and they can monitor their own funds better than you? Diba? So, just last month, nagpalabas ang Bangko Sentral ng memorandum circular to all banks that all debts must have access to opening their bank accounts. I just need to retrieve that document and circulate it. Yon. So ngayon, you can now file a complaint sa central bank if one bank will not allow you to open a bank account. Kasi may memorandum circular na you can cite when you are opening your bank account. You just have to demonstrate that you really can manage your own funds.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you so much, Miss Carmen.
Yes.
Ayan. Sige lang, Jay, pag relax ka lang dyan. Pag may question ka, fire a question. Okay, next. Sino pa ba? Ray. Regarding, I heard parang may question ka kanina before tayo mag-recording. Meron kang parang gustong i-fire na question kay Miss Carmen sa Fast Ask with Miss Carmen.
Sorry about that, Ma'am Carmen. Magandang buhay sa ating lahat.
Okay, go. Fire.
This has something to do with what Chrissy and I have been endeavoring for the past few weeks, or make that the past few days. This is about kasi na-mention na natin na-mention na earlier questions yung tungkol dun sa accessibility, no? And in particular, we're talking about yung accessibility sa deaf. And I'm sure kasi I was in and out, na-discuss na rin siguro yung tungkol dun sa adequacy ng media access, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga kapatid na deaf. As we all know, yun nga, si Sir June and his wife, I've seen them before sa TV Patrol, although we all know that TV Patrol is no longer on free TV. Pero, and I also rarely watch episodes of that newscast, primarily because busy rin ako sa mga racket ko. Although yes, I could have the luxury to watch kasi online, but time prohibits. Tapos ang ko lang din naman, no, about, I'm sure malamang na-discuss na rin to, pero in general kasing question ko, ano kaya ang say ni Ma'am Carmen about dun sa kawalan, or siguro for something better, kakulangan, kasi we all know that it's not adequate here in the Philippines, which is as compared to first world countries like Australia, na we can say na adequate na ang media access sa deaf at saka lalo na sa blind. Right. Ang question ko, this is actually in relation to what Chris and I have been endeavoring the past few days. Ano ang say po ninyo tungkol doon sa kakawalan or kakulangan ng media access para sa PWD, specifically Sa blind, yun nga sa lack of audio description dito, parang pansin namin na wala pa yung industriya ng audio description dito sa Pilipinas para sa ating mga kapatid na blind. And yun namang sa deaf, lack of adequacy. In fact, siguro magsasite, before I end my piece, magsasite na lang din ako na going back to TV Patrol, they stopped doing the description for the deaf. They stopped. Yun. Pero going back again to the question, yes, may kakulangan. Ano po sa inyo tungkol doon? Maraming salamat.
Well, that is really violation of the rights of persons with disabilities to recreation. Diba? And persons with disabilities should have rights to leisure, recreation in whatever form, and watching movies and shows is also one of the rights that is being deprived to them because of their lack of access to this media. Kaya nga, we really have, like, I know, recreation has a price, diba? And many are willing to pay for it. And if the business sector would not see it that way, that providing accessibility is also a means to fuel the economy, then forever we will be deprived of it. So, kailangan talaga those people who really believe that they have to pay the price for recreation, like others, you should demand for it because we are consumers, and being consumers, we have the right to dictate the market on what we need. So yun, it's just a matter of looking at it at the economic perspective, not at the charity perspective.
Precisely po. Nakita ko rin kasi dito yung na-mention ninyo, Miss Carmen, is basically one of the tenets of or tinuro yan sa Economics 101 ng college.
Right.
Pero ang nakita ko rin kasing hindrance, if we bring up that you are correct about yung charity model, sabihin, mahirapan ng Pilipinas kasi yung technology, wala, or it will be expensive even if there is a portion of the market who's willing to pay for those services. We don't think that it will be a good proposition kasi nga mas maraming masa, mas maraming hindi makaka-afford.
But you know, when you produce, in fact, there are some movies produced with descriptive and audio description and sign language, no? But you know, meron silang settings eh. If you need it, saka lang yan mag-a-appear. Just like sa Netflix, no? Or
Sa Netflix po, yes.
like if you want it captioned, then you can turn on the caption. Makikita mo if there is a caption on the movie. If you are blind, makikita may hindi ko pa lang na-encounter if they have yung kung paano turn on yung audio descriptive, no? But ang SM nakakapagpalabas sila ng movies with the descriptive audio descriptive features.
Hindi po siya regular, Miss Carmen.
So, yeah. So, it means
hindi siya full-blown.
Yes. Meron talaga na mga movies produced to have such features na naka-embed na. So, siguro, pwede rin naman na ilagay yan. It's just a matter of pag-aralang mabuti. Like, how can they be, kasi magbayad ng Netflix, di ba? Magbayad ka ng subscription. Then, you can demand that they put more movies with audio descriptive and sign language interpreting and captioning.
Opo. Sa
Maraming nanonood.
Kaya nga po, Sa Netflix, since it's a foreign company, most likely malapit sa katotohanan dahil marami na talagang audio descriptive or audio described movies. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, ma'am, follow-up question.
Wag ka nang manood, total mga trash lang naman yung pinapalabas nila.
Puro kabet. Pero syempre, to improve the media access of persons with disabilities in the Philippines, may role ba ang legislation or policy para to ensure na meron na talagang standard na sign language interpreting and audio description sa
Like,
mga media products made locally?
Yeah, pinagkasundoan na noon nasa yan, it should be the language, it should be the FSL to be used in broadcast, in broadcast media and transaction with the government. So they have to comply with that. Nagsasabi ni Weng, it's good, no?
Yes, opo. Pero for the other needs like audio description, wala pa
yun yan.
So paano pwede ba siyang ma-address ng isang policy?
Pwede yan, pwede. No? Kasi that is also touching the rights of a segment of society being denied of recreation. And recreation is a right.
Yes, agree, super agree. And I'm very happy about the questions fired by our yung mga friends natin in the sector. And any other follow-up? Meron pa po ba? JD or Ray, meron ka pa?
Siguro let me take this opportunity to ask na rin, no? This is on behalf of a friend who is orthopedically impaired. And is we can say dependent or has to use an assistive device. Yes, we know that meron din naman kahit paano mga local manufacturing industries which are supposed to be in the market for assistive devices. Can it become part of the mainstream market, or should these assistive devices remain commercialized and sourced abroad?
Assistive device is also one of the forgotten area of the economy, no? Lalo na sa Pilipinas, because assistive devices is also for aging population, and if you invest in it, masasatisfy mo yung market. Like halimbawa, alam mo yung simple picker for yung picker na kapag may nahulog, hindi mo kayang yumuko. You just get it. And then
Parang ano ba yun, ma'am? Yung parang mahabang tong?
Oo, yun. Alam mo, this is very in demand, no? For people, especially for older people with arthritis. And in Lazada, there is thousands of that. And pumili ako, and now I don't have to really, I don't have to make myself that miserable in picking up things on the floor. Nakakatawas kasi ng diba, yung parang nahuhulog ka na every time that you're picking up something, parang ikaw mismo, walang pupulot sa'yo. So, that is one assistive device, which is very simple, that if you can market it, that if you can make them here, it will be cheaper, no? Instead of buying it for 300 pesos from China, baka 100 na lang pag dito mo ginawa. Kasi lang naman yun,
Dapat
and
talaga
also
commercialize.
yung mga body braces na yung mga strap it all, and then it can make your posture look that good. That is an assistive device, no? And I buy that because I cannot sit for a long time without support of my lumbar. So, maraming assistive devices is because Filipinos are very ignorant about assistive devices, no? And ano pa, yung board where you can write like, you know, a whiteboard or yung magic slate that the deaf can carry with them if they want to communicate. Right? Diba?
Yung magic slate, ma'am, na ginagamit ng elementary.
Oo, but ngayon they have a very good appearance, no? Parang ano, parang ka lang may dalang manipis na ano, na slate na parang you can just put it in your wallet, and then when you can get it with a stencil, with a stylus, and you can write everything. That if you want to ask questions to people or you want to buy something, you just write it there, show them. So that makes life of the deaf and children who can speak easy. These are assistive devices that we need, and it doesn't have to be very expensive, diba? So maraming ways to really if I can give people this kind of talk about assistive devices, gusto yung 1,000 talaga na people are really so ignorant about what we need.
So, ang key talaga dyan is to really make them aware, educate
Yes.
everybody. Yun talaga
Kasi kailangan ng lahat yan eh.
Mhm.
And
Simple
it
na
doesn't
yung
have to
speaker,
be-
no? Simple.
Oo, wag ka nang mag-isip like Jet, if you want to go to the market, or Weng want to go to the market, you don't have to carry an interpreter with you. Because you know how to write. You know how to identify things. So it's not easy. All you have to do is explore possibilities. And who knows, you might be the first to show other deaf people that they really have to learn how to read and write. Even the name of the object that you want to show, your feelings that you want to express, that's really very easy. In your daily life. So, what's the assistive devices? Just a small thing like this, then you write something, then you put it in your pocket. That makes life easier for deaf people. Right.
Yeah. Marami talagang assistive devices na akala lang natin Yes, Miss Phoebe.
Weng po, may gusto kong tanong. So, for last question daw niya. She would like to emphasize daw sa mga hearing, usually sa mga companies or even the government, yung label na mute, mga deaf. So, okay po yung sa PWIDs po namin, yung nilalagay po nila na communication disability or hearing impaired. So, pwede po bang ilagay nila? Pwede mas Ma'am Carmen, deaf po. Paulit-ulit na lang, sorry paulit-ulit na lang kami, pero lagi nilang nilalagay doon. Pero hindi
During my time, I already removed that. But now it's there again with the new director. So it's very important that the one sitting at NCTA knows how to listen and should not rely on his own belief. Because it's hurting other sector.
So can we make reasonable? Can we recommend or can we suggest
Yes, sure. The PFD
Right.
can write a position. But I think it's already there, deaf or hard of hearing. It's already written. Maybe it doesn't reach your LG yet.
tama daw po sabi ni Jet. Kailangan maging responsible din po yung every organization in their locality to work with their own LGU.
Yeah, but it's good also if the Federation of the Deaf can come up with a position letter on how they wanted to be addressed in the PWDIP. And have it published.
Space. Mute.
Hi, Miss. As per schedule po, meron din kami tanong sa inyo. Sorry. Medyo sasabat din kami.
Sige, go. Go, sir. Sige po.
Go, sir.
Yung sign language interpreting kasi is very highly skilled work, not to mention very strenuous activity or strenuous job. But still sa Pilipinas, this is not yet professionalized and still not yet standardized. What can you say about this issue?
Well, it's a matter of choosing a core group like from former NASD or the National Sign Language Interpreting Group to choose really a core group to be instantly accredited, to come up with the guidelines. Like for example, if let's say who can evaluate if you are a good interpreter, if you are a skilled interpreter, then let a group of deaf mga deaf people, professionals, or who have educational background and experience, let them evaluate you if you are, because only the deaf can certify if you are good. Nobody can certify you except the deaf. So there has to be a group of deaf people to initially provide you with skills, professional, how do you call it? Who will rank you as professionals, diba? And then let that ed or CHED hold it so you can come up with the guidelines and a module, development of a module for sign language interpreting course as a college course, and then the basic as the TESDA course, and also how to include that in let's say grade 4, no? From K to 12 dapat may sign language elective. So you have, somebody has to move. Like if I can do it, I will do it. I will do it for you. Kaya lang before yung dialogue with the deaf noon hindi nag-prosper, no? Because I don't know the issue, but hindi na sila nag-appear. And that is what you really have to maybe kahit na choose from all organizations of the deaf. If PFD can't do it, let somebody do it for you, and let interested deaf people to work for it. I trust that the three of you is enough to start it. Deaf, Hazel, Jet, Hazel, and Wang, you can start it. If you want to improve if you want to improve the sign language interpreting in the country.
Tsaka mga consultants din kasi sila, ma'am, eh. So, kumbaga, sure tayo dyan na matutulungan talaga nila.
Like, I can help Hazel come up with a proposal with NAPSI to do it.
Space, mute.
That, Prissy and I can help Hazel to draft a proposal, and Jet could be our consultants for that. And we can give that to some funding agencies. They are very interested about it.
Kumbaga, talaga, collaboration din yan, eh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, Yes, we can do that.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for our fast talk or
So I want any
Yes.
yung last about what
sige,
what
ma'am.
we mentioned about what we mentioned really we really have to come up with a solution on this problem of the deaf, but you really have to identify it, and this is an urgent issue for the deaf, no? So you have to look at it as urgent.
Kailangan talaga ng standardization talaga, and how to
At kayo din, yung mga interpreter din, no, June and Betty, kailangan kayo rin mag-usap-usap din kayo, because ang ikli na lang ng panahon. You are all aging. Nung araw, ang gaganda pa nyo, ang bugwapo nyo. Ngayon, mga matrona at matrona kayo.
Maganda pa rin, miss, saka pogi pa rin. Pogi pa rin.
Oo, syempre. As parang wine, di ba?
mas maasim, ma'am, pag matanda.
Sabi kasi.
Oo. Kaya, you have to do something about it habang malakas pa kayo. And you have to reap the benefits of all your sacrifices. No? Hindi sapat na nakikita na kayo sa TV.
Yes, so, yan. Isa rin talaga yan sa mga concerns that we will be, kumbaga, ironing out.
Kasi na may namamatay, may kumakalit, hindi rin nadadagdagan.
Yes, oo nga, may
Diba?
nalalagasan din sila sa interpreting community. True.
Wawa naman yung mga susunod na henerasyon.
Yes, kailangan talaga dumami ang sign language interpreters talaga
Meron din
natin.
sinasabi si Hazel.
Yes
Okay.
po.
Ang concern ko po about sa TV, sana lakihan yung inset. O kaya patayuin sana. Kasi very visual kami. No? Lalo na yung mga matatandang deaf. Hindi namin makita yung mga interpreter, yung mga kamay nila. Sana lakihan. Tsaka yung mga...
Nanonood sila sa malaking TV, hindi sa cellphone.
Yun daw ang concern nyo. Hindi po makita. Hindi, ang hirap basahin ng mga interpreters kung maliit yung inset. Sana mas malaki.
Kaya nga. We can. Yeah.
Yes, opo. Importante nga din kasi talaga na very visible sa screen yung sign language interpreter kasi nga sila nga yung nagtatransmit ng information eh. So, dapat talaga kitang-kita or ano talaga. Oo. So, tama naman yun.
Least,
I agree.
At least sana one-fourth of the screen.
Actually, ma'am? Actually, hindi ko rin naman masasagot yan, but I guess ang masashare ko lang is part yan ng standardization. Or ng
Kaya standardized na yan.
Kailangan
Kapag
standardized.
kayo,
Lahat
para
yan
mag-produce
nasasakop
tayo
na eh.
ng sa double or triple the number of interpreters.
Kasi pag standardized na lahat yan, kompleto na yan eh. Full package na yan eh. Pag a-appear ka sa screen, ano dapat ang sukat, do's and don'ts, ano dapat yung hindi sabihin ng interpreter, anong dapat nila isuot, when they're providing services, diba, mga ganun. So, lahat yun talagang masasakop na when there's really parang yung standardization na kailangan talaga for their profession. And it's really, really good. I mean, it's a good profession talaga na dapat lang mabigyan ng standardized,
Alam mo, kahit na mag-increase sila to 500, it is not even sufficient to respond to the needs of all the deaf in the country.
Yes.
Ilan lang kayo ng sign language interpreter? 100?
Hindi ko po sure.
200?
Ganun ba? Sir June, Miss Phoebe?
Meron na pong sudden increase in number, pero I doubt kung kasi when we develop interpreters, it takes several years para nila ma-reach yung tinatawag na level of interpreting na kaya na nilang gawin yung voicing at
Kasi
signing.
usually, basic, intermediate, and then yung higher, advanced. So, saka lang mo i-introduce yung interpreting, di ba?
Kaya nga po importante talaga, Miss Carmen, talaga yung merong standards set for them. Kasi
Kaya nga habang buhay pa
habang buhay pa kayo. Nakikiusap na si Ma'am Carmen. Kasi sobrang kailangan talaga ng standards. Kasi paano natin masasabi na veteran or magaling to mag-interpret? How do we measure kung wala tayong hinahawakang standards to measure kung sino yung masasabi nating magaling na mag-interpret? Kasi as of the moment, we based it on their tenure or seniority or how vast or how deep is their engagement with their work as a sign language interpreter. So more or less doon tayo humuhugot ng kung sino yung magaling talaga. Pero syempre, sabi nga ni Sir June, it takes time when you develop a sign language interpreter.
It's not even a year or 2 years, but it
takes years. So parang parang spoken language din yan. Kung hindi ka marunong mag-Japanese, Chinese, and then ngayon mo lang siya matututunan. Well, it would take time also for you to speak that language.
Right.
Yeah, and with that, again, thank you so much for our guests today, and thank you for the fast ask. Yung fast ask natin with Carmen, parang medyo bumagal-bagal ng konti, pero okay lang. Very meaty naman siya. Very meaty and very helpful. And I guess, yun nga, helpful din yan sa audience natin to know na ganito pala yung ginagalawan ng mga tao na nagwo-work sa development sector. Talagang resolving issues talaga yan. Actually, hindi pa nga full details yan. Kasi pagka detailed talaga tong talk natin, ako, sobrang kulang tayo sa oras. Thank you so much, Miss Carmen. And last few words, Miss Carmen, for those who would like to go into consultancy, into freelancing, what are the things that you can advise them at this point?
Well, you just have to look at your just have to look at your background, your education, your experience, and how would you like to sell your experience to people who are needing the service that you want to offer, or the expertise that you have. So,
yeah, talagang expertise is equivalent to
expertise
competencies.
Is really important. Your competency.
Sobrang importante talaga yan. Kasi, syempre, hindi ka talaga kukunin ng isang organization or ng company or ng government kung wala ka talagang qualifications or competencies na match na sa kailangan.
And also, attitude matters.
Of course, as a consultant and as a freelancer, you should always be very, very professional with your work dahil dyan ka magkakaroon ng maraming kliyente na if you're able to deliver what is expected of you, bumagyo, umaraw, bumaha, na may-deliver mo siya ng tama sa oras, magkakaroon ka ng tinatawag na repeat sales or repeat clients na paulit-ulit kang tatawagin para makapag-work ka ulit sa kanila, makapag-provide ka ng freelance service or consultancy. And before we end, meron po palang nalaglag kasi si Jaylene sa call. So, ako na yung magpo-promote ng channel nila. So, VFAL channel, that's Visually Impaired Fashion and Lifestyle. That's part of, it's a channel at YouTube. So, ilalagay na lang natin yan sa description box. You can follow them. Lalagay ko dun yung channel nila. And you also have a channel, Miss Carmen, to promote. Alam ko, meron po kayong parang mga broadcast.
Yeah, meron tayong
saan po ba? Ilalagay din natin yan nasa description box din naman yan. But,
yes.
Inform them.
We have servisyong angat, and hopefully, we will schedule to interview again the three of you. Talagang kayo lang. Sasabihin nyo lahat ng issue nyo. Kaya nahanap, pumayag na yung husband and wife team to be volunteer as interpreter.
Sige
volunteer
po.
Muna, ha?
So, saan po nila saan po ba yan? Saan po ba yan makukuha?
it's a FB live every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Yes.
So
at
we will
7:30 p.m.
7:30. So we'll put that in the description box para masundan din po ng audience natin kung saan kayo pwedeng hanapin doon sa serbisyong angat. Tama po ba?
Yes, and it is launched at Disability Rights Advocate Center. That is our page, Disability Rights Advocacy Center.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sir June, Miss Phoebe. Thank you for interpreting and joining us today.
Yes. Don't worry, apat kayo.
Thank you po. So, and baka meron po kayong mga channel or saan ba kayo makikita ng mga tao?
Jet, si Jet, you have a YouTube channel, and Hazel.
Do you have YouTube?
Sige. Okay lang.
Organization lang po nila. Personal wala daw po. Organization po.
Okay.
Probably you can let us know the name of your organization and saan meron ba kayong Facebook page where they can go to para kung meron silang deaf friends or neighbors, they can consult you for whatever service or anong kailangan nila.
Yung organization po ni Jet. Yung PFD po, as usual, yung Philippine Federation of the Deaf. And my hometown, yung association po namin is Tagbilaran. Deaf organization. Tagbilaran. Tagbilaran Deaf Association. Sa Facebook.
Meron, pwedeng na lang siguro. Paki-PM na lang sa akin.
Sa chat box.
Oo. Or, wag na po dito, PM niya na lang sa akin sa Facebook para mas mabilis yung...
Wait, miss.
Sige. Paki-PM na lang sa akin kung saan yung Facebook page. Lagay na lang natin sa description. Baka singilin na tayo ng malaki sa airtime. Send yun na sa... Okay. Ayan.
So much sabi ng mga ni Weng sa kanila.
Thank you so much din. Thank you so much for joining. Again, thank you so much for joining us on the HR series about freelancing and consultancy. And ang gusto nga natin sagutin kanina, doktor lang ba yung kinukonsulta? The answer is no. Because there are a lot of freelancers and consultants na dapat ninyong i-consult for whatever job or service that you need, especially if it's something about resolving a problem in an organization. So you have a lot of consultants to go to. At yung development sector din, it's also a good sector to dive in as a professional, lalo na kung meron kayong expertise that would really help develop communities, organizations, etc. Thank you for watching. Ciao!
Ciao! Bye!
Background shows a small group of people in a theater-like setting watching something, and a block of text in a pink box appears at the lower part, saying, "Thank you for watching." The next sequence shows two sets of hands scribbling on a flat white surface, and a block of text in the middle with the words, See you on the next Brown Bag session. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Audio description written and voiced by Ray Recran.